Okay, so the can, our official superhero Nestle's can is going around to our vote counter. We now move to our prepared speeches. Since they are both icebreakers, I'm going to be a little light on the introductions and let the speakers introduce themselves, because the purpose of an icebreaker speech is to introduce a relatively new Toastmaster to the club. Now, our first speaker has impressed us so much by the fact that for the first time she was a guest, never having been in the Toastmasters Club before, she won the best table topics, and I believe won again later. So she's shown a great ability to think on her feet. She is giving her icebreaker speech, speech number 1, 4 to 6 minutes, and the title is Emily 101. Please help me welcome Emily Shell.
Good afternoon, everyone. As you know, my name is Emily. In my native language, however, my name has 2 syllables and is pronounced Emily. You see, I'm actually a native of a small town in western North Carolina, where I was born and lived until I went away to college in a slightly larger small town in western North Carolina. But I've come a long way from my rural southern roots. In fact, since I've been living in California, I've been exploring concepts in Buddhism and meditation. And meditation is all about quieting the ego, which has led me to my personal slogan, "There's no I in Emily." So, in the next 4 to 6 minutes, I'll give you a brief overview of who I am, and you'll learn that my personal passions in life can be summarized as pets, jets, and positive mindsets. I'm not married and I don't have any kids, so like many Americans, I am obsessed with my pets. I've lived with and loved animals for as long as I can remember, but currently my home is graced with only 2. Mitchell, the Border Collie mix, came to me 6 years ago from a local animal shelter when he was just a little 8-week-old puffball. He's been like a fuzzy son to me ever since. About a year ago, the executive director at our office was desperately trying to farm out a litter of feral kittens he found in his backyard. So like any good employee, I took the bait and we brought Paul, the amazing resting cat, to our household. So my 2 boys are a joy to spend my life with, but even if they weren't, I think living with pets is really part of what makes me who I am. My second major passion in life, which is unfortunately somewhat incompatible with having pets, is travel. I discovered this passion when I was a junior in college, and having never really been out of North Carolina for an extended period, I decided to spend a year studying abroad in England. I shortly discovered how awesome it is to travel all over Europe, and easy and cheap at the time, so I ended up taking my second semester off to work in a youth hostel in Greece, which was really like a fantasy. And, and when I finally came back and re-enlisted in real life in North Carolina, I realized that an international twist was really essential to my life. So I set about the mission of learning a second language, which took me to China and Taiwan, and eventually to the Monterey Institute of International Studies, which is without a doubt the next best thing to being on a world safari. And my latest excursion took me to India this past January, which was by far the most eye-opening, fascinating place I've been, definitely worthy of a return visit. But alas, I now work a grown-up job with 2 weeks of vacation a year, so my jet setting has come under considerable restriction recently. But deep down, I still light up at the idea of showing up in any random location on a map with nothing but a backpack and a sense of adventure. So as I've been settling into this life of coming home at the same time every day and planning trips 6 months in advance, it's been somewhat of a challenge to discover how to be happy in what one might construe as a somewhat boring, unadventurous life. So through a slow path, starting with reading a lot of Eastern philosophy and leading me to study and practice a number of techniques proposed by Western New Agey types, I have embraced the secret that positive thoughts and feelings don't necessarily come from having the perfect job or the perfect life or awesome trips around the world, but rather from a conscious effort to control one's thoughts and embrace a reality in which negativity holds no constructive role. So through the aforementioned meditational exploration, and a variety of ever-changing reading and positive affirmations and other self-help type attitude adjustment techniques. I have strived to make a positive mindset the lens through which I approach life. And my other passions have really only served to reinforce this notion. Living with animals and observing life around the world is a continuous reminder to choose thoughts that promote happiness. For example, observing my dog jumping up and down obstreperously at mealtime, or witnessing an impoverished street dweller in India who still finds reason to give gratitude to their higher power. So, pets, jets, and positive mindsets, the three core factors that make my life the joy that it is, as I choose that it will be, and the real reasons that make me Emily.